what's going on here.
We were getting ready for the videos we're doing for Holy Week next week.
That's okay. That's next. Yes, we are gonna do videos for Easter next week. I'm glad that you're ready. But how do you, what? That's you're a Roman soldier. That's Thor's hammer.
We got to drive the nails in.
That's okay. Great answer. So I guess can we? I'm sure that you're gonna feel uncomfortable. Can we get somebody from the crew to come and help us out here with the custom, please, as we go? And in the meanwhile, we're gonna adjust the mics and we're gonna do all the stuff that makes it comfortable for you to do it. So I'm excited to be here. And are you gonna try to?
Yes, I am gonna try and
take your whole clothes off and everything. This is we are in on the stage, on the altar, so we're gonna keep it PG.
There we go.
There you go. All right, Brother Nate. So I'm excited, guys, to be here with you one more time. I'm now with my brother Nate. He's another one of the guys that we hang out every Thursday. We have some fun, without
Yes,
a doubt. We do have some fun. And Brother Nate has a great story. The Lord has done amazing things in his life. And he called this crew, which I'm honored to be a part of it, but I don't know if I have adopted the name yet. He calls them the Gizzards.
Geezers, yes.
There you go. So that's great. That's a great name. We're gonna try to trademark that, make it official, and all of that. So, but anyways, Brother Nate, tell us something about yourself.
Well, I've been walking with the Lord for quite a few years. I was initially saved in 1972 on Christmas Eve. It was a Sunday service. I went to service with my family, and my father and I answered the altar call. I didn't realize until after we had prayed. I looked over to the other side of the stage, and there was my father down at the bottom. He had answered the altar call also.
That's great. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, both got to
Yes.
have that. That is great. So how long have you been walking with the Lord?
Well, actively, I've been walking with the Lord since 2005. Like I said, I was saved in 1972, but I wasn't discipled. I did not get anchored in a church. So basically, since 2005.
I feel like that's the issue with a lot of people. Not I think we as ministers have to do a better job on discipling people, because a lot of times we want this. We want our altars full when we do altar calls, and we want people to come and give their life to Christ. But a lot of times, you don't get to understand what that really is or what it looks like to you. You go through this discipleship process, and I mean, after all, the Great Commission is about making disciples, right?
Yes.
Be one, make one. That sounded pretty cool, didn't it?
Well, in defense of the church that I was going to at the time, I attended church for a little over a year, and then I enlisted in the Marine Corps, and really that's what caused me to separate from the church.
Hey, talking about the Marine Corps. Well, before we get to that, I know that you used to live in the reservation, so you're like Comanche or Navajo or
Seneca Indian.
There you go. What is that like? What is it living in the reservation?
I spent most of my teen years living on the reservation. I learned about prejudice from both sides simultaneously. When I was off the reservation going to school, I was treated as trash from the reservation, and when I was on the reservation, I was treated differently because my father was white.
Yeah, yes. That's one of the issues in the church that is silent. A lot of times we don't, and it's understandable. It's not that we want to be silent, right? It's it's that a lot of times we don't understand. A lot of times we haven't been through those. I have been a victim of racism, and so I understand it. I don't talk about it as much. Maybe I should. It is an issue in our churches. It is an issue in our country. But a lot of people haven't experienced that firsthand, and and so a lot of times because we haven't experienced, we don't understand it.
Right.
But man, that's hard coming up and going through all of that. So now back to the Marines. I heard that there were some issues there too as well, right?
Yes, I spent 11 years in the Marine Corps from 74 to 85. I was honorably discharged in 85. I went in when I was young. I was 17. I had just turned 17, and I got in a lot of trouble before I got out of my teen years. Lost some rank. Got it back,
That's good.
but that was one of the problems, and I think it may have been why they changed it. When I went in, you could get in at 17 without a high school diploma. Now you have to be 18. You have to have a high school diploma.
Yes. Now
So they at least raised the standards a little bit.
it's things have changed. It's never the same, right? But that's a crazy experiences you had there. And then after that, you became you were a member of the church.
Yes.
I remember that you used to call me Skinny Jeans when I was the youth pastor. So
yeah.
I appreciate that. I never wore skinny jeans, but I was flattered. I'm sure that you were blessing me by calling me that. Man, we're glad to have you back in the church. We're glad with what the Lord has done in your life. So tell us a little bit about that process. Whenever, because I believe you had a stroke, right? And then you have
Yes.
to relearn everything, how to, just,
Yeah, I had a major stroke in 2011. It was the night before Father's Day. It left me unable to sit up, walk. I couldn't do anything with the left side of my body. Having to learn to walk again. I even had to learn to chew my food again. I mean, it was challenging, and I can't imagine having to deal with it without having faith. I leaned on my faith heavily through that time. I still have a lot of issues today. When we came over here to rehearse and do this video, I mean, it takes me longer to walk from the office to the church than it does most other people. My left arm is still not functionally useful at all. Yeah, it's been trying, but like I said, I leaned on my faith, and the Lord's always been there through this.
Yeah, the Lord is faithful, and I think a lot of times we don't understand why things happen in life, and I'm always encouraged to see people that go through hard times, and man, my faith grows when I see people like you and how the Lord works in your life, and it's a testimony to me, and a lot of times our testimony is stronger with our actions than it is with our words, right? And just seeing you willing to work for the Lord, to visit with people, to pray with people, to lead small groups, and it's amazing to me, and it's wonderful to see that, and I hope our younger men can see that what the Lord can do in their lives as well, So if you would have an advice for a younger man, what would it be?
Well, I guess my advice would be to listen to what the Lord is telling you, and that's often difficult to do. Prayer is a two-way street. You pray and you listen. When I first started coming to Cypress Fellowship, the head of the men's ministry asked me to speak to the men at one of the monthly meetings, and I agreed to give my testimony, and that was basically it. He didn't go into it any further. A few days after he had asked me, I was approached by the church admin asking me what the title was for my talk to the men, because they were going to put it in the bulletin. That Nate was going to give his testimony and they needed a title. So I said, my title is "Can You Hear Me Now?" So my advice to young men will be, God will get your attention. Unfortunately for me, it took a stroke. Listen to what God has to say before you get to that point.
Amen. The beautiful thing is that we have bad situations hard times come, but the Lord is with us, you know,
Yes.
and a lot of times we tend to we fall in love with this world. We fall in love with the shine of the culture and what everything, you know, and we want to live for this world. But the reality is that the Lord has called us to live for eternity, for heaven, you know. And as we go through here, we will have hard times, but the Lord never leaves us and He never forsakes us.
That's right.
So, well, Brother Nate, it's been a pleasure it's been a pleasure for me to hang out with you guys every Thursday. You know, Brother Bob, Brother Ken, Larry Lewis. Shout out to my brother Larry Lewis wherever he's at. It's been an honor. I learned so much from you guys. I've you know, God ministers to me through all of you guys. So, man, it's an honor. It's a good thing, and you know, there's a lot more that the Lord wants to do. There's a lot more that the Lord is going to do with our community, with our church, and I pray that younger men will look at you guys as an example of serving the Lord with all their hearts. So, well, do you have any last words?
No, that's it.
That's it. You ready back to get to the Roman soldier? All right, everybody. Yeah, you guys have a blessed evening or a blessed day, whatever time it is that you're watching this. May the Lord bless you greatly.